This is Former still laying his egg.
Yes, in order for me to properly notarize this signature, I want you to swear that the information is correct. You are not being allowed to bring that to the meeting. You are not bringing this to the meeting. Of course I'm bringing it. No, you are not.
And now Former will not let me take my notes to the annual meeting. How do you like that? Are these people censors? Are they violators of the Constitution? Are they American? And Former said, come into a back room, and I'll talk to you about this. I said, I will not. Anyway, I want to go to the annual meeting. And here it is, 2 minutes to 10. 3 minutes to 10, 4 minutes to 10. 10 o'clock, a little after 10. And I said, I don't want to be late for the meeting. I'm here for the meeting. It's not an annual meeting, it's just a shareholders meeting. This is going to make good stuff for the New York Times.
Why don't you get another soldier out there, Mr. Toy Soldier yourself? Why don't you get another out there? You never learned that this is America. This is the United States of America. Well, keep the thing. Okay, now you're going to be so... Now, do you swear that the information contained herein is true and accurate? That's for your knowledge, so help you God. I have told you that is true, and you've got my signature. I will accept that notarization.
Their backs are to the wall. They're making fools of themselves. They're violating everything American. This is the kind of people that the Dolans are. Do you like them?
This is great. We just won another round.
There's no doubt about it. We have just won another round. Now, my point was, wouldn't you know that for Christmas they would put up 3 soldiers? Mm-hmm. They would hire 3 more insecurity people. That's what they did. 3 new insecurity hires. 3 great big 20-foot wooden soldiers outside. That's what the spirit of Christmas is to the Dolans. Soldiers.
Bob?
You understand what happened, folks, right? Censorship all the way through. The copy machine, no copy machine. No audio tape recorder, no videotape recorder. Censorship, censorship, censorship. And you can't even take your file box to the shareholders meeting. So off Glendora goes to the meeting with about 20 insecurity people following her. And into the auditorium. And the auditorium door is locked. A woman is saying, do you have a shareholder's pass? I had gone over to the table and got a shareholder's pass, and I was number 5. Isn't that great? Well, you see, the shareholders don't know about this meeting because the Dolans have violated the law and have not informed shareholders of the shareholders meeting. So we got them on another round. And downstairs is a woman posted, and she says, "Do you have a badge?" And I said, "Yes," and she sees it. And then I go over to go into the door, and the door is locked. So I tell the woman, I think it's more important to know what door is open than it is whether you have a badge or not. And I went in to the auditorium, and I went over to Chase Mellon, and I asked to see the shareholders list. And I looked at it, and it is the old shareholders list, way back to September 30th. And here this is December 8th. They can't even give you an up-to-date shareholders list. And I asked Chase Mellon people there for a business card. They didn't have a business card. You see, they're afraid to give a business card because I used their business card when I sued them. And so it's pretty rinky-dink, folks, that Chase Mellon Shareholder Services, that their people don't have business cards. They're poor. And so Charles Former goes like Henny Penny the hen down the stairs, the aisle of the theater, and he says, "All right, Mr. Dolan, you can start your meeting now." And Glendora was behind him. So Glendora sat down in the front row, and another security goon started to reach over and says, no, you can't sit there. And then another security goon came down and told that goon, no, let her do it. Did you ever see such a mixed up, unprofessional, amateur bunch of idiots calling themselves a public corporation when they're a family business? There is Franklin up there in a lobby, separated from his wife, and what God has joined asunder, let no man, what God has joined together, let no man put asunder. But Dolan does that too. He separates a man and his wife. And so Dolan starts up the meeting, and he does the same railroading as he did before. He calls the meeting to order, and he says that the meeting is to be adjourned until January 5th. And he says right away, reading a script, I will entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting to January 5th. And Glendora says, but there's no discussion. You have a motion and there's no discussion. And so Stooge, or Robert ASTARITA, stands up and says he's a Class A common shareholder, and he's reading a script, you know, folks. Did you ever see anybody so unprofessional as these people? So amateurish? And he makes a motion to adjourn the meeting to January 5th. And then next is Stooge Charles Former. It's always the same people who do the seconding. And he makes a motion to he seconds it. And Glendora says, where is the discussion? And Former says, the polls are open. Dolan says, Charles F. Dolan says, the polls are open. Does anybody want a ballot? And I said, I wanted a ballot. And Abigail Montgomery brought me down a ballot, and I filled it out, and then I voted that I was against it. And then Dolan said something about proxy statements, about proxies. And I said, wait a second, do you have to have a proxy for this meeting? I submitted my proxy for the November 10th meeting. Do I have to have another one for this meeting? And Selhouse, who was sitting right in front of me, stupid as usual, said, yes. So I didn't have a proxy on that basis. Later, she did a volte-face on that and said that you didn't have. Amateurs, making believe that they are a public corporation when they're nothing but a family business. And so Selhouse comes down to the lectern. Charles A. Dolan steps aside, and I don't know what they're doing that for. What are they doing that for? What's going on there? And then the two of them giggle about something that nobody else knows about. A little private giggle. And then Selhouse says, it is enough to take your breath away. And then Selhouse says, the polls are closed, and we have enough votes to carry it. Where were the votes tabulated? Here in Florida, we're spending weeks and weeks all day long counting votes. How did they get the vote count that fast? Did you ever see any worse railroading in your life? Did you ever see any worse monopolism and monopoly and Gestapoism and imperialism, I guess is the best word. Imperialism. So these are the Dolan cheaters. And these are the people who are going to ask you to increase your subscriber rates so they can have more money, so they can pull some more chicanery such as you have witnessed today. So Glendora said all the way through, no discussion, no discussion. And I said, and I want to know why. Why was the meeting adjourned from December 8th to January 5th? And why was the November 10th meeting adjourned? And Charles F. Dolan said to me, well, I think that we explained that in the press release for offers. There might be other offers. And Glendora said, a press release is not a notice to shareholders. And you want to know how many people were in that big auditorium? I don't think there were more than 5 or 10, and they were all insecurity guards. They were all insecurity hires. They were all little toy soldiers. I think I might have been the only stockholder there, and they were holding the meeting until I did get there. They weren't going to start the meeting until Glendora got there. And that foolish prima donna, Charles Foreman, acting like Henny Penny. A piece of it fell on my tail. So it was all over in like 4 or 5 minutes. Isn't that unbelievable railroading? And now you can see why they didn't want it recorded. You can see why they made a spectacle of themselves and they didn't want the public to know it. And they didn't want you, the subscribers, to know it. But they made fools of themselves. And then Charles Dolan came up the stairs behind me, and they were sounding out statements like, now escort Glendora to the elevator and upstairs in their Gestapo, Nazi, KBG, little empire that they think they own. And Selhouse was in the elevator, and Glendora was making notes like crazy, and making them out loud too. That Selhouse said that you didn't have to have a proxy, or that you did have to have a proxy for this meeting, and then saying that you didn't have to have it. And so, that's twice that Dolan has faltered. That's twice that a meeting has been called and been adjourned. Now the next one is January 5th. and I asked to see the shareholders list, and and you're supposed to have the shareholders list available at any shareholders meeting, so they broke New York law and Delaware law. And but Dolan doesn't have to worry about breaking laws, you see. Charles F. Dolan is above the law, because when Glendora takes him to court because he's broken the law, all Charles Dolan does is hand out money to the judge, to the political party, and then he gets out of court that way. He did that with Charles L. Bryant. He did it with John P. de Blasio, and he did it with Carol E. Jackson. He buys judges left and right. It's the kind of uselessness of the courts that you are seeing now down in Florida. We all know that the Republican judges are going to rule in favor of the Republicans. We all know that. So, you want to know something, folks? That meeting was over in the time it took me just to tell you about it. And so I'm back upstairs, and I'm sitting down with Franklin, and this is what is being said. See, the Dolan law breaking has piled up all the work. I can't find the papers. They're all over the place. Okay, this is what was said to Franklin. Okay, this is Sissy Forma talking. Glendora says, not the law. Show me the law. Former said, you have to see the case law. And I've showed him the case law, and on the case law, you know, I win on everything on the case law. So he has no grounds there, and he has no proof there, and he's not producing anything. Glendora says that case law, there is no such thing as case law. It's just more bad decisions by bad judges. State of New York made no such law, and Congress made no such law, and Delaware made no such law. Why are they afraid to show a shareholder the shareholders list? What are they doing so wrong? What are they doing so criminal? Why are they afraid to have the meetings, shareholder meetings, taped? What do they want to keep from you, the subscribers, and from you, other shareholders, and from you, the public? What are they covering up? What have they done that's so bad? That was ASTARITA. I want you to know, folks, that this is with demand number 70. Demand number 60, no, this is demand number 71. Demand number 70, Franklin made on Tuesday, December 5th at Bethpage. And demand number 70 was a no. This is demand number 71, a no. This is how many times they have broken the law. Cablevision, Charles Dolan, James Dolan, Robert Lemley, William Bell, all of the rest of those people. This is how many times they have broken the law. Now this is interesting. I want you to hear this. This was ASTARITA. I'm going to play it for you again. Bob ASTARITA, a former New York City cop. He acts just like Bruiser Ken. Robert ASTARITA says, this is my building. He's nothing but an insecurity goon. And this is my building. Well, I'll have you know, Robert ASTARITA, it's the shareholders' building. It's the shareholders who own the building. This is Cablevision, and this is how Cablevision talks to people. Glendora has asked to see the shareholders list at corporate headquarters at 1111 Stewart Avenue. And they know that they are wrong, and they know that they are breaking the law, and they know that I have them cornered. And I keep asking to see the shareholders list. And so they try to get out of it this way. Now this is ASTARITA, who is vice president of, is nothing but insecurity. It's not security, okay? They're just Gestapos. They're former former Manhattan cops, New York cops. And so this is, ASTARITA comes over, and this is what he says. Can you get that? This guy is just a flunky, and he says, in my building, people do what I say. Well, he doesn't own the building, okay? The shareholders own the building. Who is this? This is Robert ASTARITA, okay? A blowhard, a puffery, a braggart, and this is all rhetoric. He doesn't own the building. The recording is not clear because I'm not wearing the recorder. It's not on me. So I had to laugh at that, and he says, in my building, that's bad enough, but people do what I say. And this is the arrogance and the ignorance that go hand in hand with Cablevision ever since 1993, ever since I've known them. This is what they are. And I'm glad that we have a copy of it so you can see. And I'm glad you're getting this report. Okay, there's 3 great big 20-foot wooden toy soldiers out at the front. This is how the Dolans choose to celebrate Christmas, with soldiers. Peace on earth is being celebrated with soldiers. And we have a toy soldier over there named Scotland, we have a toy soldier over there named Ryan, and we have a big fat toy soldier over there named Lavalier. Okay, this is how the Dolans choose to celebrate Christmas, peace on earth, goodwill toward man. My statutory right is being violated. Glendora says, what difference does it make whether you want it to be or not don't want it to be? It doesn't make any difference at all. And ASTARITA, who admitted only 3 or 4 days to me that he was ignorant of the law, and he was not a lawyer, and he didn't know the law. And so he says this is a New York State law, but he's been given bad advice by some bad lawyer. New York State law is that any conversation can be recorded as long as one person knows it's being recorded. If I know it's being recorded, that's enough. Any conversation can be recorded as long as one person knows it is being recorded. That is New York State law. So Glendora told ASTARITA, who doesn't know what he's talking about, to produce his law. And ASTARITA can, and so ASTARITA gets angry. Typical cop reaction. Now he knows he's lost the argument. He knows he's wrong. So he says, listen, Glendora, I don't want to lower myself. Charles Foreman doesn't qualify as an attorney by any stretch of the imagination. So, ASTARITA is Gestapo, saying you have no further business here, and Glendora says, well, I certainly do. I'm a shareholder, and I'm here to see the shareholders list. ASTARITA, big boss, says if Franklin and Glendora are not out of the building in 5 minutes, call the cops. I asked to see the shareholders list. The answer is call the cops. This is what Cablevision is. At Christmas time, this is what Charles Dolan and James Dolan are. So Glendora says it's a great idea to call the police. I want them to arrest you, Robert ASTARITA, you, Paul Ryan, you, Tony Lavaya, for not showing me the shareholders list and breaking a New York state law. Now, ASTARITA trails off. And Glendora wants to still ask him a question. Glendora wants to see a chat with Glendora on Channel 71 Public Access. But ASTARITA knows that he's lost, and he doesn't have the fortitude to turn around and face it. So he keeps walking, when clearly he is hearing me call him. And so I said to Paul Ryan, is there some place where I can go and watch Channel 71